Be here back in the Fantasy Bar. Wednesday is up. 6 of my favorite plays for you on FanDuel and DraftKings for the big NBA slate, including some of my favorite games I want to attack with some correlations. We've got 4 plays for you under 6,500 on DraftKings. One of my favorite buy lows so far this entire season, and an absolute stud I think goes under-owned and overlooked tonight with 60 to 70 point upside. Who we talking about? Only one way to find out. It's time to belly up to the Fantasy Bar. Welcome in, guys. Wednesday edition, Beers Daily Fantasy Six-Pack. Good to be back here in the Fantasy Bar talking some NBA. 6 guys fresh off the tap for you on FanDuel and DraftKings. Thank you, as always, for stopping by the Fantasy Bar and checking out today's video. Before we get to those plays, do me a favor. Hit that tip jar, and that tip jar is that thumbs up button. Helps us out greatly over on YouTube, so thank you for that. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos. NFL videos coming out tomorrow, so make sure you are subscribed and ready to go here. Last video out, pretty solid for us. We'll go 5 out of 6. Jovic, definitely a disappointment, but solid games out of Koulibaly, Vucevic, Trae Young, and the old fire emoji for one of our value plays in Christian Brown and Kyrie Irving. Congrats to our Beast of the Night contest winners who won a free week of RotoGrinders Premium and your shot to win that same prize coming up at the end of the video. All right, let's get into it here for Wednesday night. Let's start with our first play in the mid-range with Cameron Johnson of Brooklyn. All right, so we saw Cameron Johnson in our opening night video. Didn't get it done for us that night, but I like going back to the well here. And we're looking at ownership for this Nets team. Looks to be the forgotten man. A lot of these Brooklyn Nets looking like they're going to garner quite the ownership here tonight. Guys like Dennis Schroeder, Cam Thomas, some of the value plays in Williams and Clowney, but Johnson not showing a ton of ownership here. And I like what I'm seeing here over the last couple days, really starting to ramp it up to the guy we expected to get on opening night, averaging over 35 DraftKings points per game over his last 2, and gets a good matchup here with Memphis. Really struggled with both forward positions last year, bottom 10 in fantasy points allowed to both spots, and we're already seeing the same story this season, bottom 7 to open the year against both small forwards and power forwards in fantasy points per game allowed. And Cam Johnson stays hot and likely the lowest owned amongst all of these Nets. Take advantage here with Cameron Johnson. All right, let's stay in the mid-range at point guard with Scotty Pippen Jr. of Memphis. Ja Morant listed as questionable here. We'll discuss that here in a minute, but Scotty Pippen Jr. looks to have a role. Whether Morant is in or not, Scotty Pippen going to play a role for this team. Now, if Ja Morant is out, I think it's a no-brainer here in all formats, but even if Ja Morant plays, Pippen going to have a role like we discussed. Why? Memphis really limiting some of the minutes that they are playing their star players. So he should see in a range of 25, 30 minutes once again here tonight. Now, we also have big-time blowout risk in this game. Huge spread in this one. But I think Pippen's safe. Why? We talked about that role he's going to have. And if this game does get out of hand, maybe he's doing it in mop-up duty as well. So should not be game script dependent in this one. And I love the ceiling that we are seeing out of SPJ. Over 40 DraftKings points in each of the last 2. One of those came in just 23 minutes, contributing across the entire stat sheet. Phenomenal play here in the mid-range. I know the prices are up. I don't think they're up high enough here on Scotty Pippen Jr. All right, let's spend some money at shooting guard and point guard with Jordan Poole of Washington. Now, Poole's certainly going to garner some ownership here, but one I don't want to shy away from. We're going to get different in some other spots here, and he should continue to be the high-volume shooter for this team and the focal point of this Washington offense with Kyle Kuzma on the shelf. We know he's going to jack up threes, at least 7 attempts in every single game, but he's adding more this season than just scoring. And it's kind of been a knock on Jordan Poole. It's only been scoring, but he's averaging 5 assists per game, multiple steals in every game so far this season. So chipping in some other categories, all that does is raise the fantasy ceiling for him. And you got to love this game environment. 240 points between these two teams on Monday night. Does not surprise me. Both of these teams top 5 in the league in pace. I think we get another high-scoring game. I think we get a ton of Jordan Poole shots along with some of the ancillary stats. I think a ceiling certainly in play here for Jordan Poole. All right, let's go to the other side of that game with some value. My favorite value on the night with Zachary Reyna of Atlanta. So the number 1 pick in the draft, starting to see more opportunity, more usage here in this Atlanta offense. I think this is one of the best buy lows on the board right now. 4,400 on both sites. Easily my favorite value here for Wednesday night. The minutes are trending up, and like we've talked about, a guy that can contribute across the entire stat sheet, so you're not just dependent on 1 or 2 categories. Lots of ways for him to get there. Not to mention the Atlanta Hawks dealing with a ton of injury. Dyson Daniels going to miss tonight. We know Bogdanovich is out, and DeAndre Hunter listed as questionable. I think the role here is safe. I think the prices are too low, and I think this is a guy that could give us a 6, 7, 8x return easily. My favorite value here for Wednesday night. All right, let's go down low with my favorite center play for Wednesday night. We're rolling Jakob Poeltl of Toronto. So Toronto, another team dealing with some injuries here. Scotty Barnes is out. Emmanuel quickly looking doubtful. I think a lot of people are going to flock back to RJ Barrett, but let's not forget, big men against Charlotte has really been good to us over the past couple seasons, and I don't think that changes here this season. Charlotte bottom 5 last season in both points per game and rebounds per game allowed to centers, and already bottom 10 in fantasy points allowed to this position. And Poeltl been impressive to open up the season here. 9 or more rebounds in every single game, and that has come against some stiff competition. Teams like Cleveland, Philadelphia, Minnesota, who have a much bigger presence down low, much tougher on the glass, and we saw him pull down 19 rebounds the other night against the Denver Nuggets. Shouldn't see much competition here against the Charlotte interior. We mentioned Scotty Barnes out. That's nearly 8 rebounds per game being removed from that lineup. I think Poeltl drops a big double-double tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. All right, it's time. Take a look at my favorite play for Wednesday night. Before we do that, let's continue our Beast of the Night contest. Easy to play. Just click that thumbs up button, head to the comment section, and guess fantasy points on DraftKings for my Beast of the Night. Whoever's guess is the closest, we're going to give you a free week of RotoGrinders Premium just for hanging out in the fantasy bar. And while you're down there, get your guess in on my Beast of the Night. I also want to know who's your Beast of the Night. Who's your top play on this Wednesday night slate? Sound off in that YouTube comment section. All right, let's wrap it up with my favorite play. You know, Matt, the Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time. We're going to go up top to the studs. Looks like some heavy ownership on a few guys, but one guy being forgotten, I think is a big mistake, is Jason Tatum of the Celtics, tonight's Beast of the Night. So LaMelo Ball looking like mega chalk here tonight, potentially upwards of 40 to 50% owned. I can't argue with the play, but I don't like the ownership there with Jason Tatum seemingly being forgotten here in ownership amongst all those big names up there, looking like sub 5% owned in early ownership. That may change, but I don't see him getting steamed up too much here throughout the day. Now, coming off a down game, and I put it in quotes, when your down game is 36 DraftKings points, you know that floor is there. We know the ceiling is there as well. Already games of 53, 52, and 66 over his first 4 games, and he has absolutely dominated this Pacers team. I don't put a ton of stock normally in history against the team, but it's a lot of similar faces, and he has put up 30 or more points in 8 straight games against this Indiana team, 52 or more DraftKings points in 7 of the last 8. So you combine that history, the ceiling we know he has, and the potential ownership under 10, potentially under 5% owned, Jason Tatum, easily my favorite play on the board and tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that'll do it for Wednesday night here in the Fantasy Bar, talking some NBA as always. Any comments, questions, or feedback, you know where to find me. Hit me up in that YouTube comment section or on Twitter at BeerMakersFan. Don't forget your guess for Jason Tatum's fantasy output on DraftKings for a shot to win some free RotoGrinders Premium. And give me your Beast of the Night. Who's your top play on this Wednesday night slate? For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salute. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Best of luck. NFL videos coming at you tomorrow, so keep an eye out on that. Go win some money tonight. We'll see you back here for NFL. Thank you for watching. We are out.
Thanks for checking out our videos. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more DraftKings, FanDuel, and other DFS content. And you can check out our daily live show schedule on RotoGrinders.com/videos.